It's your boy Captain Hunter coming at you again. Thank you so much for tuning in to this particular show. I really appreciate it. It does not do me any great favors or any great joy to have to post on such a show such as this, but I wanted to get this information out there and give my little 2 cents about what that means. I'm going to post my bio right now so you can see just who I am. All right, so that's just a little bit about me. You can pause it if you want, but that's who I am and where I came from and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to leave that right there. So that's me. So let's talk about this really tragic situation that happened just the other day. As in all cases, when I talk about this type of thing, I think it's very important to be fair, to be just, and to give the CJ system, the criminal justice system, the powers that be who are involved in this, their time to do their investigations and all that. But having said that, yeah, I do think it's I got to weigh in just a little bit. And I'm reading these articles fresh. A lot of times, I like to do a little bit of research, but I wanted this to be more of a reaction type of thing. I saw a snippet of the video. We're going to watch the video as it's given by the AP is in its entirety. I think it's great that these police departments are releasing these body cam footage whenever they can and as soon as possible. I applaud any department who is engaged in that type of transparency. So we're going to get into it and we're going to take a look at it. But before we do that, we're going to read the story here so we can kind of get the framework of what's going on. I know a little bit about it. Again, I'm coming into this fresh and I want to give my honest reactions and opinions as we go about them. When we watch the video, then I'll talk about tactics and all that kind of stuff, right? So, Miami deputies responding to a disturbance call at a Florida apartment complex burst into the wrong unit and fatally shot a black U.S. Air Force airman who was home alone when they saw he was armed with a gun, an attorney for the man's family said. Oh, so that's, I guess they're quoting the narrative there. Senior Airman Roger Fortson, 23, who was based at the Special Operations Wing in Hurlburt Field, was in his off-base apartment in Fort Walton Beach where the shooting happened on May 3rd. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump said in a statement that Fortson was on a FaceTime call with a woman at the time of the encounter. According to Crump, the woman, whom Crump didn't identify, said Fortson was alone in the apartment when he heard a knock at the door. He asked who was there but didn't get a response. A few minutes later, Fortson heard a louder knock but didn't see anyone when he looked through the peephole, Crump said, citing the woman's account. The woman said Fortson was concerned and went to retrieve his gun, which Crump said was legally owned. As Fortson walked back through his living room, deputies burst through the door, saw that Fortson was armed, and shot him 6 times, according to Crump's statement. The woman said Fortson was on the ground, saying, "I can't breathe," after he was shot, Crump said. Fortson died at a hospital, officials said. The deputy involved in the shooting was placed on administrative leave pending an investigation. The woman said Fortson wasn't causing a disturbance during their FaceTime call and believes that the deputies must have had the wrong apartment, Crump's statement said. The circumstances surrounding Roger's death raised serious questions that demand immediate answers from authorities, especially considering the alarming witness statement that the police entered the wrong apartment, Crump said. We are calling for transparency in the investigation of Roger's death and the immediate release of his body cam video to the family, Crump said. His family and the public deserve to know what happened in the moments leading up to this tragedy. Crump is a nationally known attorney based in Tallahassee, Florida. He has been involved in multiple high-profile law enforcement shooting cases involving black people, including Ahmaud Arbery, Trayvon Martin, Breonna Taylor, Tyree Nichols, and George Floyd. Crump and Fortson's family plan to speak at a news conference in Fort Walton Beach on Thursday morning. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office didn't respond to an email or a voicemail from the Associated Press seeking comment about Crump's claim, but Sheriff Eric Aden posted a statement on Facebook Wednesday afternoon expressing sadness about the shooting. At this time, we humbly ask for our community's patience as we work to understand the facts that resulted in this tragic event, Aiden said. The sheriff's office said in a statement that last week that the deputy responding to a call of disturbance of progress at the apartment complex reacted in self-defense after encountering an armed man. The office did not offer details on what kind of disturbance deputies were responding to or who called them. The sheriff's office also declined to immediately identify the responding deputies or their races. Officials said earlier this week that the Florida Department of Law Enforcement and the local state's attorney's office will investigate the shooting. FDLE spokeswoman Gretel Plessinger told the Associated Press on Wednesday that it is highly unlikely the agency will have any further comment until the investigation is complete. Fortson was assigned to the 4th Special Operations Squadron as a special missions aviator, where one of his roles as a member of the squadron's AC-130J Ghost Rider aircrew was to load up the gunship's 30mm and 105 cannons during missions. Fortson's death draws striking similarities to other black people killed in recent years by the police in their homes in circumstances that involved officers responding to the wrong addresses or responding to service call with wanton uses of deadly force. Wanton uses. In 2018, a former Dallas police officer fatally shot Botham Jean, an unarmed black man, after mistaking his apartment for her own. Amber Geiger, the former officer, was found guilty of murder the following year and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. I don't think she's getting anywhere close to 10 years, right? Aren't they? She might even be out right now, right? Yeah, she might even be out right now. In 2019, a white former Fort Worth, Texas officer fatally shot Tatiana Jefferson through a rear window of her home after responding to a non-emergency call reporting that Jefferson's front door was open. Aaron Dean, the former officer, was found guilty of manslaughter in 2022 and was sentenced to nearly 12 years in prison. Crump has represented families in both cases as part of his ongoing effort to force accountability for the killings of black people at the hands of the police. What I am trying to do as much as I can, even sometimes single-handedly, is increase the value of black life, Crump told the Associated Press in 2021, following the conviction of a former Minneapolis officer in the murder of George Floyd. Fort Walton Beach is between Panama City Beach and Pensacola in the Florida Panhandle. So a lot of, striking language in there, wanton use of force, things like that. So I think that they're trying to, again, this is trying to paint the narrative. I thought AP was a little bit better than this. That's why I chose them. They didn't seem to do a much better job, although they did cite that a lot of this was coming from Ben Crump, that story. So this was, what is the date of this? So this is May 8th. It was updated May 8th. So this, the shooting happened May 3rd. It's May 11th as I do this. So again, I try to wait. Everybody wants to jump in there and all this kind of stuff, but let's take a look at the body camera. We'll read another story from the AP, and we'll kind of go through it. I'm going to pause it. Yeah, May 3rd. So I'm going to pause it a little bit, and as we go through this, and make sure my picture's out the way here, so you can watch what the heck. So you can watch the whole thing here, unencumbered by my face there. All right, so we're gonna watch the video here, and then we'll read the story here, and I'll try to pause it and try to tell what police do and all that. I haven't watched this video. I watched another video that was on Facebook, so I don't know. Hopefully we can get through all of this and all that.
Sheriff's office, open the door! Sheriff's office, open the door! Step out. Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
It's over there.
Drop the gun!
I don't have it.
312, shots fired. Suspect down. Do not move! Sheriff's office, open the door! Step out.
Okay, so if we recall what the other article was talking about, supposedly he looked through the peephole and all that. So again, there may be more footage to this that has not been released as far as what led up to the encounter, the sheriff walking up the steps Did he knock on other doors? Did he just go straight to that door? Did he make any type of radio calls? We don't know. The full investigation will explore all those different types of details. Watch the video on social media in which there was a narrator saying that when he looked to the peephole, he didn't see anyone, and he steps off to the sides as if that is a tactical stepping off to the side is a tactical technique that officers will take when responding to different scenes because they don't know who's on the other side of the door. As of yet, these articles that have not released, maybe this article, as we read through it, may release, what the original call was and whether he was out there. I believe he was at the wrong apartment. But his tactics of stepping off to the side are in line with with most training or police training. It's not unusual. They don't know who's doing what. Now, you hate the Monday morning quarterback. I know that it's bad, the Monday morning quarterback, but this is the only way that we learn. The officer, again, we don't know if there were phone calls made, who's doing what, whatever. If we're going to learn anything from this, if we can take anything away from this, and I say this with all humility as much possible, is that if you don't know if you're on the other side of the door and somebody's knocking at your door, don't open the door. Ask who it is. If you can't hear the answer, don't open it. And then if somebody's saying, sheriff's office, police department, open the door, and you're not sure who they are, you can't see them through the peephole, ask them to step in front of the peephole so I can see who you are. Can you show me some identification? Hold up some form of identification in front of the peephole. Things along those lines. You can call 911 and say, hey, listen, there's somebody claiming at my door saying that they're claiming to be the police. Do you have any police at my door? If not, send somebody because somebody's at my door. I say this with all humility. I recognize I'm probably going to get blasted for this. Answering the door with a gun. Listen, I understand, what it is and all that, but this obviously turned out bad. The question has to be answered: did the officer act irrationally? Could race have been a factor in the shooting of this individual when he automatically sees the gun? He obviously didn't see the gun at first because he tells him to step out. We don't, all this heightened type of interaction would have been necessitated or escalated by the type of call that the officer was on, where his backup is. All these different types of things mean something concerning the officer's response. Now, did the officer just have to start shooting? Why didn't he tell him to drop the gun? Why didn't he flee? Why didn't he turn for cover? You only get, as officers, and this is things I'm giving both sides. What the prosecution's going to say, what internal affairs investigators are going to say, and what the public's going to say. So I'm trying to cover all these different bases here. The officer is going to say, from a police perspective, is that I only have a certain amount of time to make a split-second decision. I have to within the next quarter of a second determine whether this person who's holding a gun, who's answered the door, depending on the type of call that I came to, is either meaning me ill intent or good intent. I don't have those times, and they're going to err on the side of caution. Now, this is a complex issue that deserves so much more time that the general public and politicians just don't want to have concerning guns, gun control, and all that. Right? We just don't want to have that type of thing. So what I'm saying, have that type of discussion. So what I'm saying, going forward, if we can learn anything from this tragic incident, is that if you don't know who's on the other side of the door, don't answer. Know what type of situation. Let me speak from the public's perspective first. If you don't know who's on the other side of the door, don't open the door. Right? No matter what they say. Right? Just keep looking through the peepholes. Keep looking, listening. Install cameras. Things along those lines. On the other side, I don't think there's anything wrong with necessarily answering the door with the police, but or answering the door with a firearm in your hand. He obviously didn't have it pointed. It was pointed down the whole time. Should the officer have acted differently? That's Yes, I can probably say yes. You probably should have taken taken a little bit more time, but those split seconds, tw- you know, 25, 1/4 of a second, 2/4 of a second, right? Your brain has to process: is that a weapon in his hand? Does he mean me ill intent? What type of call am I on? And you have to, I'm talking vastly slower than the brain has to process and make these determinations whether my life is in danger or not. And so, you really have to, you really have to kind of be sure. So, I don't think that the officer is probably going to get any trouble. Maybe retraining. If they do charge him, it will just be, you never know with these cases. You never know. Do I think that he's going to? I certainly can't see him being convicted in a court of law. He may get charged just for the sake of police accountability, police transparency, because of his grievance, because somebody died and it wasn't that type of situation. So there's a lot of different moving parts. You have to please the public as well as not turn off police officers or turn off police officers who are working, or turn off people who want to become police officers because they don't want to risk going to prison over these types of calls and these types of mistakes. And clearly it was a mistake and an accident. Foreseeable, yes. I think the bottom line is that both sides need to learn something from this particular encounter. As tragic as it was, there's always going to be something that we can learn, that we can take away. From the police department to take away, be careful, be cautious about the type of call that you're on. He announced his presence, knocked on the door, and all that. And from the public's perspective, answering the door with a firearm in your hand did not help in this situation. Depending on the type of neighborhood, it may have warranted that. If you're not sure where you are, or if you're not sure who's on the other side of the door, don't open it. Call the police and all that, and still, take any type of necessary precautions. So let's watch the rest of this video here. Man, that's bad. As soon as he sees it, right, he tells him step out, step back. Already given orders. I can't tell, is that a holster on his hip? I can't tell. I don't know what that is. Man, but this is bad. This is bad. These shots are going off. Oh, this is so bad. This is so tragic. This my son is in the Air Force, and to lose your 23-year-old son this way, man, this is bad. This is a conversation we need to have that the public is just not willing to have about guns. A means to protect yourself. It's I don't even know if Florida is an open carry state right now. Yeah, I think that they're permitless. I think that there are permitless carry to go into effect in Florida, what new gun law entails. Florida's gun laws are set to change on Saturday as licensing and training requirements that have been in place for decades have been altered to what is known as permitless carry. Governor Ron DeSantis originally signed the bill at the beginning of April. Nearly half of all U.S. states already follow it, according to U.S. Concealed Carry Association. When everyone fully understands what's about to change in Florida, law enforcement agencies across the state, including Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, have been trying to educate the communities and staff as the weekend approaches. Until now, look at this guy. Until now, gun owners would apply for a license, take a class, and get a background check to be able to carry concealed carry in the state. Come Saturday, eligible Floridians will be allowed to carry a concealed weapon without needing a license. I'm actually in favor of that. Look at it. I mean, look at the optics of this, right? Guns. Look at this guy drinking, right? It's the optics until you realize he's drinking olive oil. That means there will be no application process. Carriers will have to follow the requirements as if they were going to get a concealed weapons license, which means there's still a 3-day waiting period to buy a gun. Once the gun is in someone's possession, it will still need to be concealed. Florida is not an open carry state. A gun owner also cannot carry out inside schools, universities, bars, or government buildings. Convicted felons and anyone with injunctions against them also can't own or carry firearms. Yeah. All right. So, I mean, that's got to be taken into consideration when in these circumstances. that and this is something that police officers, you know, are always having in the back of their mind. They always have in the back of their mind. We used to call it the two gun rule, right? That there's always at least two guns in any encounter that you have. The first gun is obviously your gun. As a police officer, you walk into a situation, your gun is already there. That's one gun. And there's always the assumption, the training, that there's a second gun somewhere on the premises, whether it's in a vehicle, whether it's somebody you meet in a camping trip, in a park. You always have to assume that that person is armed because we live in America and all that. So.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
It's over there.
Drop the gun!
I don't have it.
Do not move. Stop moving. Stop moving. Hang on, man. We got an EMS coming for you. Don't move.
Man, this is horrible. No, that was clearly unjustified. I mean, you know, clearly unjustified. Man, this is
Since 8
I don't know what this is. That was really terrible. That was really heartbreaking. A Florida sheriff released body cam video Thursday showing a deputy outside an apartment and firing immediately when it was opened by a black man carrying a handgun pointed downward. A killing the family denounces unjustifiable. Okaloosa Sheriff Eric Aiden presented the video hours after the family of U.S. Air Force Senior Airman Roger Fortson and their attorneys held a conference in which they disputed that the deputy acted in self-defense. Aiden rejected assertions made by civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who was representing the Fortson family, that the deputy had gone to the wrong apartment, covered the peephole, and did not announce himself. Well, we can see from the body camera. Again, unless there's more body camera that we didn't see, that didn't occur. The video shows the deputy arriving in Fort Walton Beach apartment building on Monday the 3rd and speaking to a woman outside who described hearing an argument. The deputy then went up the elevator and walked down the outdoor hallway. The video showed the deputy banging on the door and stepping aside, seemingly out of the view of the door. Twice, he shouted, "Sheriff's office, open the door." Fortson opened the door and could be seen holding what appeared to be a handgun pointed towards the floor. The deputy shouted, "Step back," and fired off shots. He then shouted, "Drop the gun, drop the gun." Oh gosh, it's over there. Fortson dropped the gun. I don't have it. The deputy then called paramedics on his radio. The sheriff's office declined to identify the responding officer, deputy, or his race. The deputy was placed on administrative leave pending an investigation. Crump released a statement later noting that the officer did not tell Fortson to drop his gun before shooting him multiple times. Yeah, and that's probably going to be problematic. But they're going to say, you know, split seconds, the guy's got a gun. Why is he entering the door with a gun? And all that. We remain adamant that the police had the wrong apartment, as Roger was on the phone with his girlfriend for a substantial amount of time leading up to the shooting, and no one else was in the apartment. Yeah, I hate to play devil advocate and all that, but I mean, they were saying there was an argument. Was he arguing with the girl? You know, I don't know. Was he talking loudly because he's on a? Maybe he was just talking loudly because he's on a cell phone call or a video chat or whatever. Crump also told reporters earlier that Fortson was talking to his girlfriend on FaceTime and that he grabbed his gun because he heard someone outside the apartment. He said the deputies burst into the apartment, citing the account of the girlfriend, who has not yet been identified. The girlfriend acknowledges that even though she initially thought the door was forced open by the police, that she stands by her emotional recollection of what happened, Crump said. In a clip from the FaceTime video captured on Fortson's cell phone, the airman can be heard groaning. The deputy can be heard telling him, "Get back, stop moving." The phone is pointed at the ceiling and does not show what is going on in the apartment. Aiden said he had met with the family deepens condolences. This result is one we never hope to encounter. Aiden said these investigations take time, but I want to assure you that we are not hiding or attempting to cover up anything. Man, that's really bad, man. That's really, really bad. That's really bad. I'm going to refresh this and try to get another look at the video here.
Sheriff's office, open the door!
Now, we don't know. We don't know was that the first time that he knocked. We just show it shows him already on the side, right? Because we can see the concrete. We see the concrete. It shows him already on the side. So we don't know if that's the first time he knocked.
Sheriff's office, open the door!
I don't know why I did that.
Sheriff's office, open the door! Sheriff's office, open the door! Step out. Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
That's bad. That's bad. That's really bad. I don't know if he said step back or if he said step out, but whatever. That's really bad. It's really bad. It's really bad. Condolences, obviously, to the family. This is hard. This is hard. This is hard. Nobody wants this. This is a deeper conversation about, yes, to a certain degree about race, to another degree about guns. You know, I don't think on second look, I don't think that's a holster. I think it's just something in the background there. It's bad. It's bad. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Obviously, the investigations. I assume that there's going to be nothing that's going to. My gut is telling me there's nothing going to happen to this officer. He's got a split second to make a decision, and he made it. And even if he does get arrested or whatever, he won't be convicted. They're not gonna convict him for this. He may resign, may feel bad, but I don't see anything happening beyond that. So let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Do you think the officer? It's obviously unjustified. I'm not trying to blame that at all. This is a tough situation because it's unforeseeable, right? This guy's in his own home, concerned, if the stories are correct, concerned about who's knocking on his door, right? Other things have to play into this, right? The character of the neighborhood, the type of call, was he arguing, right? All of this on both sides is going to create some type of awareness. How many times did he knock on the door? You hear somebody banging on your door, you go to the peephole, you don't see anyone. And it's my feeling that this is a longer situation. This is a longer video. I think this is a brief because it already starts with him standing on the side. So we don't see him walking down the hall. We don't see how many times he knocks on the door, right? Because the narrative is that he knocks on the door. The kid then, Fortson, then looks through the peephole and then gets his gun. And then goes and gets his gun. That is not, and then within 5 seconds, I didn't time it right, but within 5 seconds he's knocking again. So there's probably some level of agitation that's going on here because he's not answering the door. And, we don't know if the officer had his ear to the door listening, as we're also trained to do, to see if there's some type of argument going on. Was he listening? Was the music loud? Was the TV loud? Was there an argument going on with the FaceTime? Was he at the right apartment? All of these have to come out. And I can't see that this guy, unless he just sat around, arguing with his gun, under him, and he just grabbed it on his way to go answer the door, So there's a lot of questions that have to be answered. And it's really tough to try to give a detailed breakdown and analysis because we just don't have all the facts as it was. And I'm telling you, this video is not demonstrating all the facts. It's not. It's not demonstrating all the facts. We need the video from him having whatever conversation he had when he first got to the apartment complex, the officer. We need that video. And then him riding up the elevator. And then whatever. We need all that. So there's things to be taken away from both sides. And again, I don't think we have all the facts. So listen, be careful out there. If you don't know who's on the other side of the door, don't open up the door. If you're concerned somebody's identifying themselves as the police, but you can't see them through the peephole, ask them to show you some form of identification. I can't see who you are. Can you show me some identification? Call 911. Say to somebody identifying themselves as the police at my door. I can't see them. Do you show the police at my door? What's his name? Get names, badge numbers. Ask the person on the other side of the door what's your name and badge number. Before I open it, let me confirm, etc., etc., etc. Right? Some people don't think that they need to do that because I don't got to cooperate the police. I'm not going to talk to the police, right? And so you get situations like this where the police just get antsy and all that type of stuff. So, did the police officer have to shoot? That's a major question. Did the police officer have to shoot? They're faced with impossible situations, and somebody answers the door. You get a disturbance call, and somebody answers the door with a gun in your hand. You're going to err on the side of caution. The police officer is going to err on the side of caution. He's been dispatched with a disturbance call. Supposedly talked to somebody down in the parking lot or earlier, said a disturbance going on in this. There's an argument going on. And based on that, somebody answers the door with a gun in their hand. And after you've announced at least twice, that you're the sheriff's department. Nah, there's no way there's going to be an arrest on this. No way. No way there's going to be an arrest on this. No way. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Let's keep the conversation going in the comment section.